Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Dramatic video of a man being attacked while just trying to pay for gas.
Have you seen this man? He's wanted in connection with the murder of a woman who was found by her 14-year-old son.
And a very colorful 4 Live radar as Monday takes a bit of a stormy turn. Some rain, some lightning, some other problems, but it's moving now to the east. Let's see where we stand here at 5 as the weather tops our news today.
Yeah, Ben, it started on a beautiful day, then came the rain, but we probably needed it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so a lot of us needed it. It's just we got it with the thunderstorms, which was not fun. Although we still have some areas of rain which are trying to pop up. The bulk of the showers have now pushed off to the east. You can see those have exited over into parts of Ontario. The one place that we're still watching is one little cell there approaching Howell, and we've got some more showers and storms that are in our far north zone. This is up in Sanilac County and stretching down into the northern end of Lapeer County. Nothing severe. Don't really anticipate that there will be any, although we could see some areas of small hail. There's definitely going to be some lightning and some downpours. And this has been the big winter. You guys have seen a ton of rain here in our north zone. The rest of us really need some of this. We'll see if we get any more storms for the rest of the evening, and we'll take a look at high temperatures in your 4-zone forecast, all coming up in just a few minutes. Guys?
Okay, Ben, we do have some breaking information just in the Local 4 newsroom. Otto Warmbier, the University of Virginia student who was detained in North Korea for nearly a year and a half, has died. Warmbier returned from North Korea last week in a coma and died in the hospital just before 2:30 this afternoon. That's according to his family. In a statement issued just a half hour ago, the family said they hold the North Korean government responsible for their son's death. Well, a man just trying to pay for his gasoline is attacked, and it's all caught on surveillance video.
A video that Detroit police want you to see in hopes of aiding their investigation. We get to Mara McDonald, who's live on Detroit's west side. Mara?
Devin, that video is pretty clear. It all went down inside this BP gas station. This guy didn't care that there were surveillance cameras rolling. Take a look. Take a good look at this guy walking into this gas station. The one in the white t-shirt, the guy wearing the Pistons shirt, is not a part of this. Now, he mills around for a minute, and you can see him hanging near the register. Meanwhile, outside, his accomplice runs up to see what's happening. That's when he starts throwing punches at a 39-year-old guy simply trying to pay for his gas, punching him repeatedly and stealing his wallet. They then both take off and head back to their getaway car, which is this red Dodge Magnum. Take a look at his face. He launched this attack against a man he didn't know, but knowing full well he'd be recorded on surveillance video. That's pretty bold. Back here live, DPD says the one good thing out of all of this is that 39-year-old man who got sucker punched did not require any hospitalization and is okay. This happened on June 10th. DPD says if you recognize this guy, they would really like to hear from you. We are live on Detroit's west side. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Yeah, pretty clear video there. Hopefully it'll lead to some tips. All right, Mara.
Well, we now have our first look at the man police say is a person of interest in the killing of a mother in the presence of her own child. Take a look here. 38-year-old Earl Maxwell is described as 5'8" with a heavy build and a tattoo reading Latrice on his left arm. Maxwell is wanted in connection with the shooting death of a 42-year-old mother of 2 in her home on Sunday on Detroit's east side. She was found by her 14-year-old son, and we're told her 4-year-old was also in the home too when it happened. If you have any information on Maxwell's whereabouts, you're asked to call police.
People of London are still grappling with the reality that their city has been the target yet again of a terrorist attack. The investigation of this latest assault continues, but the message from leaders and police remains the same. Keir Simmons has more from London.
Hey there, good day to you. The man in his 40s who was held overnight, now being held on terrorism charges. Let me just step out the way to give you a clearer view of where it happened. This van mounted at the sidewalk here and ploughed into a group of people who had just left the mosque where they had been conducting evening prayers. You can see people still leaving flowers for one man who died here and 10 who were injured. Above those flowers, a sign saying "United Against All Terror." And now the mayor, the prime minister, police talking about this as terrorism.
All of these are attacks on our shared values of freedom, of tolerance and of respect, and terrorism is terrorism. whether someone's inspired by an Islamist narrative or other forms of, inverted commas, inspiration.
The message that terrorism can come from different sides, different forms of extremism, and at the same time, some really extraordinary stories from the local community here. The man in the vehicle who had carried out the attack was surrounded by a crowd, and some people appear to have held, according to witnesses, held the rest of the crowd off, taking out vengeance on him, held him and waited for the police to arrive in order for him to be arrested. So an extraordinary demonstration of lawfulness in the midst of this outrage. Back to you.
Mark here. Now, earlier today, another vehicle attack in Paris. Police say a man drove his car into a police vehicle on the Champs-Élysées, and his car was packed with weapons and explosives. The 31-year-old man, though, was shot and killed by police during the attack. The motive and identity of the driver still not fully known. French police, though, say it is being investigated as a possible act of terror.
A GoFundMe for Matt Micah, the Michigan native lobbyist who was shot along with Congressman Steve Scalise on Wednesday, has raised more than $20,000. A spokesperson for Micah's family says the GoFundMe page was started by his friends in Washington. The GoFundMe met its goal of $20,000 within 2 days, prompting them to update the goal today to $30,000. Any excess contributions will go to a charity of Micah's choosing.
A man who allegedly stole a batch of lottery tickets won a trip to the Wayne County Jail today. Westland police say a man grabbed the lottery tickets at a store on Warren Road west of Inkster and led police on a chase into Detroit, but that's where he crashed into a Detroit police car. That was on Winthrop near Greenfield and Joy. It is not believed that the officer who was involved was seriously hurt, but the 31-year-old from Redford Township, the suspect in the case, is now awaiting charges.
A new CDC study reveals the alarming numbers of kids hurt by guns each year. The study found from 2002 to 2014, an average of 19 children are killed or injured by guns each day. Additionally, 5,700 children are treated for gunshot wounds per year, and nearly 1,300 die from their injuries. More than half of gun-related deaths were homicide, 38% were suicides, and 6% were accidental.
Well, do the Pistons get to be a part of the new downtown arena? The two sides in a lawsuit that could threaten their move to downtown brought their arguments before a judge today, and our Steve Garagiola was there. But Steve, no decision yet, correct?
No, I'm afraid not. I keep checking my phone to see if we've got a ruling from the judge, and since we're now at 5:07, I'm guessing that means we're not going to get it tonight. What's at stake? The Pistons, the city, the Downtown Development Authority say what's at stake is big. The whole project to move the Pistons downtown could get derailed. Robert Davis and Deetta Wilcoxon want the federal district court to stop city council from issuing $34.5 million in additional DDA bonds to pay for construction changes to the arena project to accommodate the Pistons. They argue that the city is required to get voter approval to use property tax revenue from millages for Detroit public schools.
But they're afraid to grant the citizens of Detroit, whose money that they're using, their right to vote on the question. If it's such a great project, why are you afraid that the citizens are going to turn it down?
No one from the city or the DDA wanted to comment on camera until the judge issues his decision. The Pistons say the NBA will not approve the move to Detroit unless these issues are resolved. And without league approval, the move to Detroit can't happen. In their court filing, lawyers for the city and DDA say the loss of the Pistons would cost Detroit millions of dollars in tax revenue and would threaten the burgeoning growth of the city's entertainment district. Davis says regardless of the outcome of this restraining order question today, this case is not going away quickly or quietly.
This case is going to continue whether we win or they win. It's going to be appealed to the Sixth Circuit, as well as there's going to be a parallel state court action with respect to compelling the election, as well as seeking the refund of the money that has been collected.
So what are the key issues here? On the plaintiff's side, they say the key issue is the people of Detroit have been denied their constitutional right to a vote. The defendants say the outcome could be catastrophic for this project and in turn for the city, and we wait for the judge to make a decision. Back to you.
Well, what does that wait mean then for the city council and tomorrow with regard to this additional money, the $34 million?
Yeah, and that's why we thought pretty sure we'd get a ruling today before that happened. If this restraining order happens, well, then we've got a big mess then, because it's all on hold, paying for these bonds. If he denies the restraining order, then City Council most likely will approve this $34.5 million for the new bonds, although it sounds like the lawsuit will still move forward, but that won't derail this next step.
Sure sounds like it. All right, Steve, and we will continue to watch for word from the judge. As soon as it happens, you'll hear it right here.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, still ahead, lockdown in Lake Orion. Why the disappearance of a teenager had a school district taking extra precautions today, even though most students are off for the summer.
Also, fallout from the Cosby mistrial, the new legal battle to protect jurors as one of the alternates reveals which way he was leaning.
And next, we'll update the condition of a Detroit girl whose arm has been reattached following a vicious dog attack. Our medical expert, Dr. Frank McGeorge, explains the factors that may have made it possible to save her arm. That's next.
Tonight, new at 6.
The Karen Spranger saga continues with a new twist, why there are serious concerns at the clerk's office.
Plus, a wrecking ball heading to a Detroit high school or Metro High School, why some people are fighting the planned demolition.
That's all at 6. Now here at 5, we have an update on the condition of the 10-year-old Detroit girl who was mauled by a dog.
Yeah, surgeons report they were able to reattach her severed arm and save her severely damaged foot. The young girl was attacked by a pit bull Saturday outside her aunt's home on the city's east side. The girl remains in critical condition. The dog is being held by Detroit Animal Control.
Fascinating. Obviously, just the medical procedure part of this raises a lot of issues about how remarkable this is for doctors to reattach an arm. So we brought in Dr. Frank McGeorge to talk. Common isn't the right word for this procedure, but increasingly so, right?
Yeah, it's actually far more common than you might think. In fact, the fact is there are a lot of different factors we have to consider if reattachment is likely to be successful and should even be attempted. For example, the type of injury. Now, if a limb was crushed compared to cut, for example, crushing is much worse. How many structures are still functional? Bone, muscle, and nerves, they can all heal, but only if there's a good blood supply. So all of that needs to be factored in. But generally, though, if there's any chance that a limb can be salvaged, we will often try, but expectations have to be set realistically. Regaining even 50% of function is generally considered to be a very good outcome. So it can be attached, but with limitations.
Yeah, but as far as being a child, how does that impact it? You would think that a child's little muscles and bones are, smaller and maybe not able to...
Right, might be more delicate, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, that might be one way to look at it. But of course, when these things happen to a child, it's really that much more upsetting. But in fact, children generally have a much better chance of a successful outcome. First of all, because they're usually healthy, they don't have any vascular disease, so their blood supply is good. Also, while this kind of damage to a limb would be distressing to anyone, children can actually get used to the new normal much better than adults when they lose partial function. But the most important thing, of course, is that children simply heal much better. So wherever possible, reconnection in children is actually preferred. But of course, the risk for infection or other post-surgical complications are really the same. And that's the main thing that they have to watch for at this point, are complications.
And of course, children are still growing. So that development probably helps move it along too, right?
That's exactly it. There's lots of new growth that happens there. And in fact, when they reattach limbs, there is continued growth. And even in young children, the limb will grow out often to 80% or so of the previously expected growth.
Never thought about it that way. Yeah, that is phenomenal. Okay, thanks, Doc. In more news, a North Carolina law preventing sex offenders from using social media has been struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court. The justices ruled unanimously today, deeming the law unconstitutional, saying it violates First Amendment rights. The only other state with a similar restriction for sex offenders is Louisiana, which only restricts offenders convicted of sex crimes involving children. The U.S. Supreme Court made a second major ruling today in connection to the First Amendment, upholding potentially offensive trademark names and logos as an acceptable form of free speech. The Supreme Court did clarify that potentially offensive names or logos are okay, but ones deemed to be hateful are not protected. The logo for the Washington Redskins was one of the primary examples mentioned in the decision. And one of the next cases heading to the Supreme Court concerns gerrymandering, which is the redrawing of voting district lines for partisan advantage. The case argues voting lines were drawn in Wisconsin in a way that violated the constitutional rights of Democratic voters. This would be the first case of its kind to reach the Supreme Court in more than a decade.
And 9 justices now there to hear it this time around. Yeah.
It's been a while.
All right, Ben's turn now. We've had a really kind of odd day. It was cloudy to start, then got really nice, and then got kind of messy in spots.
Got stormy, which some of us were hoping for. Because, you know, Mother Nature has been gerrymandering us with that rain.
Isn't that the truth?
Actually, I'll show you a map here in a minute. We do have showers that are hanging around in spots. Right now out in Livingston County, there's one cell that's out there. Most of the rain remains in the north zone, and this is the spot that has picked up most of the rain that we have seen really in the last week or so. We officially gotten 5/100ths of an inch today at Metro Airport, and get this, it's our second highest total of the entire month. So we're looking back at the last 7 days. Everything in blue is less than an inch, and in most cases much less than an inch. But look at how those rainfall totals have pretty much been hugging I-69 and points north. You start getting into the green, yellows, and even oranges up there in Sanilac County, where they picked up more than 3 inches of rain there in southern Sanilac County. So there have been plenty of places that have gotten rain, but the vast majority of the area, especially around Metro Detroit, has really not gotten what they've anticipated across the area. 67 is where we sit right now. It's rain cooled, and you can see those temperatures out to the west a little bit warmer where they haven't had the rain. In fact, the showers and thunderstorms really started to flare up on our side of the state, and even skies have stayed generally partly sunny to mostly sunny out there towards Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo. There is another line of showers and storms coming out of the lake. This one's weakening, and for the most part, it's heading down towards the south and east. So I don't think that we're going to have to be in contention for that. Once we get past tonight, the only spots that may still be seeing a shower or storm are going to be up close to the thumb in our far northern part of our north zone. As that rolls through, we'll start tomorrow dry. We will see showers tomorrow, probably not much in the way of thunder. Things are going to be a little bit more stable, but could get wet in the afternoon again. High pressure will settle in on Wednesday and give us a little bit of a break, but chances of rain come back as we finish out the upcoming work week. So we're going to 58 tonight. Any of those scattered thunderstorms that are outside of the thumb should come to an end even before sunset. But if you're up there towards Bad Axe and the north section of our north zone, you may be seeing those at least until about midnight or so. Temperatures that are highs tomorrow don't look a whole lot different across the area. We'll be at 78 in the city. South zone temperatures tomorrow pretty much right around that mark, and slightly cooler here in our west and north zones into the mid 70s. And maybe even low 70s here in our north zone. Sandusky could be as cool as 69 for high temperatures tomorrow. Otherwise, the heat does come back at the end of that forecast. We'll go to 86 there on Thursday, stay in the 80s to the upcoming weekend, and we start cooling down a little bit towards the big fireworks, which are coming up on Monday. It looks dry right now, and temperatures don't look all that bad. 77 in the afternoon.
It stays that way.
There will always be a chance for rain, a fireworks show. You know how it goes.
Typically
Week from tonight. Right. All right, Ben. Detroit has landed atop yet another list it never expected to be on. Still ahead, the digestive issue we complain about having more than any other city in America.
We'll have that coming up. Plus, the new information in Carrie Fisher's autopsy. More on what was found in her system at the time of her death. That's coming up next.
There is new information this evening on the autopsy of actress Carrie Fisher, who died back in December after she became ill on an airline flight. The Los Angeles coroner ruled that sleep apnea and other factors helped lead to her death, but the autopsy also found cocaine in her system, which she could have ingested up to 3 days earlier. Traces of heroin and the drug known as ecstasy were also detected, but the autopsy could not determine what impact they might have had on her death.
Days after a mistrial was declared in the Bill Cosby sexual assault trial, prosecutors say they are planning to take him back to court. The jurors deliberated for more than 52 hours before failing to reach a unanimous decision. Now the prosecution is fighting to stop their names from being released, saying it could make future jury selection more difficult. Meanwhile, in an interview with NBC, alternate juror Mike McCloskey says he was shocked by the verdict.
I felt like it wasn't like he did this one time. I felt like it's happened over and over and over again. And I think that they did a decent job of proving that went over and over and over again. And I don't know why he wasn't convicted.
Prosecutors say they plan to have Cosby back in court, quote unquote, as soon as possible.
Police in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina have one suspect in custody after a shooting unfolded on Facebook Live. Police say it all started when a fight broke out between two people on a crowded street. One of the men shot at the other, hitting a number of other people in the process. The gunman was shot by a security officer who was nearby, and then that gunman was arrested. At least 7 people were taken to the hospital, but for non-life-threatening injuries.
New at 5:30.
President Trump today navigating foreign policy, but the Russia investigation still taking center stage.
Plus, Amazon's purchase of Whole Foods and what it's likely to mean for your grocery bill.
The school year may be over, but a high school is still a busy place in the summertime.
The most important thing is that they're safe.
And the summer program ended up closed in one local school district because of a possible threat.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5:30 starts now.
School may be out for the summer, but this teenager's disappearance has one local district taking precautions today. Topping our news at 5:30, a troubled teen on a weekend pass from Oakland County's Children's Village disappeared this morning.
And the Oakland County Sheriff's Office tells us he's armed and possibly dangerous. While deputies look for him, his actions closed an entire summer school program. Local 4's Rod Maloney has the story from Lake Orion.
The 2017 school year ended on Friday. Today was the first day of the summer programs, things like the day camp, swimming lessons, driver's ed, and more. But it all ended up canceled. The schools locked down behind the teachers because of the merest whiff of a threat. 16-year-old Nathan Charles Graywee walked away from his grandfather's Orion Township home, located just 2 miles from the high school, somewhere around 4:30 a.m. Slated to finish his sentence tomorrow, he'd told his grandfather he'd like to join the high school football team this year. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office says in leaving, he stole one of his grandfather's handguns and some ammunition. Word of all that set the wheels in motion. Orion school superintendent shut down summer school, but not before Jack Diedrich brought his young cousins over to the school's complex for summer camp.
I get there, I drop them off, and I start driving home, and I get a call saying to come back and pick them up. And, you know, they didn't give any sort of details as to what was happening.
The closure affected something on the order of 50 to 100 students at the high school and more at Scripps Middle School, where most of the summer activities are held. The teachers are in the process of cleaning classrooms, and they were allowed to come and go as needed. The Sheriff's Department tells Local 4 there was no overt threat made to anyone in the schools, but it was a precautionary move that Jack appreciated.
I had to change some plans around, but, the most important thing is that they're safe. And all the kids are safe.
Now, throughout the day, the Oakland County Sheriff's Office has been actively searching for the young man. He's 5'9", 140 pounds, brown hair, possibly wearing black shorts, a white shirt, and a Red Wings hoodie. We've not heard from the Sheriff's Department that they have found him yet, but they do say that if you see him, do not approach him. Just call the Sheriff's Department and let them handle it. Back to you.
Rod, do we know, has Nathan ever done anything like this before?
Yes, as a matter of fact, this happened about a year ago. Same exact thing. Went to a family home, ran away from home with a gun. At that time, we're told that by the Sheriff's Department that he had the gun because he wanted to sell it to get some money. And so apparently this is becoming a pattern for him.
All right, well, we'll stay on top of this. Thank you, Rod.
Police have announced an arrest of a suspect in a string of armed robberies near the University of Michigan from last winter. Police say forensic evidence has linked 28-year-old Dominique Wilson of Ypsilanti to 3 armed robberies this past January and February. 3 university students were robbed at gunpoint, though they were not injured. Wilson currently locked up in the Washtenaw County Jail.
The investigation into the deadly collision between a U.S. Navy ship and a Philippine-flagged cargo ship over the weekend near Japan continues. 7 sailors died on the USS Fitzgerald when it collided with a container ship, ACX Crystal, more than 3 times its size in clear waters. The crash damaged the quarters where more than 100 crew members were sleeping at the time. Repairs could take up to a year. Its starboard side is crushed and gashed.
You can't see most of the damage. The damage is mostly underneath the waterline, and it's a large gash near the keel of the ship.
There are several investigations underway into the collision. Japan's investigators have talked to ACX Crystal crew members and hope to do the same with the USS Fitzgerald.
As the White House deals with international tensions, the Russia probe continues to dog the administration, and the president's outside legal counsel is being forced to clarify his statements about whether the president himself is under investigation. Blaine Alexander is following it for us from Washington tonight. Blaine?
And good evening to you from Washington. Today, President Trump ignored shouted questions about the Russia investigation, instead trying to focus on foreign policy as he welcomed the president of Panama to the White House. A commander-in-chief facing a potentially dangerous military escalation after U.S.-backed forces shoot down a Syrian fighter jet.
This is certainly a little more dangerous period.
Syria's closest ally, Russia, now vows to treat all U.S. planes in that part of Syrian airspace as targets.
I doubt very much the Russians will really look to shoot at a manned American aircraft. You never quite know.
Syria has been testing the U.S. in a series of provocative moves, escalating an already tense relationship between the U.S. and Russia, despite the shared goal of defeating ISIS.
If you talk to foreign policy experts from across the spectrum, they say Russia is not our friend. Russia is doing very bad things vis-a-vis our friends in NATO, vis-a-vis interference in our democratic process.
Back in Washington, the Russia investigation remains in the spotlight as the president's legal team denies reports that he is personally under investigation.
Any administration has to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. What we have seen of this president is his obsession with the Russia investigation. And I think it raises profound concerns as to whether the president has the bandwidth and the capacity to focus where he needs to be focused.
And today, rare public remarks from presidential son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner.
This is Technology Week here at the White House.
Despite Kushner being a central figure in the Russia investigation, his duties within the White House appear to be expanding. And President Trump's personal attorney says the president may address questions about whether he taped conversations with former FBI Director James Comey by the end of the week. In Washington, Blaine Alexander, Local 4.
News of Amazon's $13.7 billion purchase of Whole Foods has many wondering what's in store for their organic chain now. Reports say it will strive to be competitive with other stores like Walmart. A report from Bloomberg says Amazon's CEO plans on cutting prices while maintaining the fresh food reputation Whole Foods has. The company will continue to operate under its current brand, sources, and keep its vendors. Right now, no job cuts have been confirmed by Amazon. Chick-fil-A has added a gluten-free bun to the menu. The gluten-free bun comes individually packaged since Chick-fil-A's kitchens are not gluten-free, so customers will have to assemble their sandwiches themselves. The bun will reportedly cost an additional $1.15. Taco Bell, Wendy's, and Sonic are among the other nationwide fast food chains with gluten-free options. And UPS announced today it will add more surcharges for the holiday season this year. They said residential packages, large packages, and those over system weight limits would face surcharges of up to 97 cents for 2-day air services to residential addresses the week before Christmas. A 27-cent surcharge per package will apply to UPS's ground service around Thanksgiving and Christmas.
A nationwide study of digestive issues has pinpointed America's capital of stomach pain, and it is Detroit. Based on data gathered from more than 30,000 Americans, Detroit is the most common place in the country where people report stomach pain. Additionally, nausea was most common in Nashville, constipation most often found in Atlanta, bloating most reported in Boston, which is at least nice and alliterative. The study also says 1 in 5 Americans suffers from digestive issues. Is that more than you wanted to know?
Yeah, it kind of is.
It's just funny that, of course, with all the conies, we would end up with the stomach pain.
Well, here is a pro tip. Helping your kids keep active during the summer is easier when you have help from definitely an NBA basketball player.
Our Evrod Kasmi shows us how local children are working on their basketball skills with help from the Detroit Pistons.
The Detroit Pistons youth basketball camp starts today, and it goes through the end of the summer in different locations. The students are learning the fundamentals of basketball. Many of them one day hope to make it into the NBA. Jordan Thomas and Nolan Shuring are back on the court again at the Pistons Academy Youth Summer Camp. The two are going one-on-one to prove who's the best once and for all.
I think I'll win. I think I'll win against Nolan. I can post them up. I think I can drive on them faster, and my defense is pretty good.
These boys are just 2 of the hundreds of kids at camp this summer. The camp tour stops at 15 different locations throughout Metro Detroit for boys and girls entering 2nd through 10th grade. It's a chance for the students to work on their skills, and you never know who might show up.
To try to make sure the kids improve as basketball players, but then within that we have assets that we don't think any other camp can offer from, our Pistons, where we have the Detroit Pistons flight crew coming to perform. We have Pistons mascot Hooper, a bunch of different giveaways and items from the Detroit Pistons organization.
I have a lot of fun because you get to meet new people, play with people. It really helps me become a better basketball player. I really want to improve on my skills and my dribbling and my shooting.
And every summer that these students attend, they're one step closer to fulfilling their dreams.
If I can get to the NBA, it'll be a great blessing.
And for more information about the Detroit Pistons Youth Basketball Camp, just go to clickondetroit.com. In Detroit, Evrod Cassimy, Local 4.
Had to finish with a make. Of course. Way to go, Evrod. Van Elslander Capital will have a new president next month. Art Van Elslander, the founder of Art Van, announced today that his son, Gary Van Elslander, will take on the new role July 1st. The younger Van Elslander formerly served as the president of Art Van Furniture, which is the largest furniture retailer in the Midwest. Art Van says he is delighted to have his son by his side.
Still ahead, we know smell plays a really big factor in food enjoyment, but what about sight? A new study says the color of the napkin next to your meal could change the way it tastes.
How about that? Plus this, Jamie?
So the Red Wings have 7 of these and could soon have 8. It's a possible addition that's got Red Wings fans talking.
All right, Jamie, and Jim Harbaugh extending an invitation to the Obamas, how he'd like the former president and first lady to be involved with the football team this fall.
Accused